Thank you. As a mythological archetype, Prometheus established an intercultural link between ancient Greek. Okay. As a mythological archetype, Prometheus established an international link between ancient Greek and Caucasian mythology patterns. Chained hero on the rock Amiran is the key character in the Georgian mythology, and considering that the ancient Titan may be chained on the Caucasian mountain, some researchers express an opinion about the ancient connection of these two archetypes. Undoubtedly, there are numerous distinctions between them, but in both characters we see bodies struggling for the freedom which were captured and punished by the stronger than them. For that reason, Amiran and Prometheus become one of the most important figures in the Georgian historical and modern reality. It must be stated that the central thought in Georgian memory is the freedom and struggle for it. According to Georgian historical reality, the struggle for independence from the great empires became a national symbol. Since 1991, Georgia has achieved liberation from 2 centuries of occupation, initially by the Russian Empire and subsequently by the Soviet Union. After achieving the independence, the idea of freedom has been changed with its form and content. It should be noted that at the end of 20th century, the country faced many problems and challenges, such as civil war and struggle for the territorial integrity. In the 21st century, a quarter century after achieving independence, in 2016, the young director Data Tavadze staged the play Prometheus, 25 Years of Independence, at the Royal District Theatre of Tbilisi. It is evident from the title that the play was not a classical staging. Besides the ancient texts of Aeschylus, the stage featured the texts created by playwright Dato Gabunia and the director himself, based on information stored in the memory of the actors and the latest historical research. It is worth noting the fact that during the process of the work on the play, most of the actors and director himself was 25 years old. It turned out that the first generation born in independence looked into their own past and tried to analyze created reality in which they existed. Their perspective did not focus on external public events, but rather looked inward through personal and emotional experiences. During the challenging process of self-exploration within the context of the country's newest history, actors required a sturdy archetype to serve as a guiding light. The process that the group underwent we can call return to the myth. The director also noticed that Georgian theatre returned to the ancient text with fresh, youthful perspective. He attributes this return to the birth of new theatre that has actively begun to explore its own identity. Certainly since the 10th of 21st century, young directors are increasingly staging Greek tragedies on the Georgian stage. In a short period of time, Euripides' Medea, the Trojan woman, Hecuba, Oedipus the king of Sophocles, and Prometheus Bound of Aeschylus by Aeschylus was staged several times on different stages. In this process, a specific pattern emerged, characterized by the desire to circle back to the origin through self-analysis. It must be noted that the majority of plays don't feature a classical staging of ancient texts. Most of the listed plays serve as an exploration of contemporary themes, and the ancient text itself is a tool, a kind of key through which the director tries to talk about important issues of the society. The action in Tavadze's staging is played out in a white decoration. The walls and floor seems to be freshly painted, and as striking as this whiteness is, The presence of the garbage looks so disturbing and soul crushing, which is gathered in the corner and it's impossible to hide. This is how the creative team perceives the newly gained freedom. They understand that without analyzing the past, thinking about the future is impossible. Though they do not revisit specific historical events, but rather a myth archetype that is both ancient and contemporary, as it transcends many specific age. They chose Prometheus as a symbol of freedom. Prometheus is recognized as a hero struggling for freedom, but symbolizing the body and the bond and chained body with the freedom approach paradoxical. The director refers to the main question: what is freedom? Is it possible to be free? The body of Prometheus is chained; it is not free, and its release depends on Zeus. However, Prometheus does not engage in a fight. He waits for the right time. An interesting aspect arises here. Prometheus is engaged in self-analysis throughout the entire tragedy. He speaks, remembers, and remembers the past, analyzes the steps that have led to the current situation. This, in my opinion, represents Prometheus' path in inner freedom, which I believe is a central idea of the director's play. If a person or society does not feel inner freedom itself, he simply does not know what to do with physical outer freedom and may even voluntarily refuse it. By this logic, the hero who is physically bonded may appear considerably freer than even the other characters of the tragedy. So the play director was only interested in the character of Prometheus. In the play, there are 8 actors, 4 men and 4 women. The director asserts that all 8 actors embody the character of Prometheus. However, the Aeschylus text is read by the single actor, a tall man in a long coat with a wooden long plank attached to the inside of his clothes along his spine. He can walk, but his movements are very limited. In the play, the director attempts to interpret first various forms of physical bondage. The process of struggling creates a constant dynamic rhythm on the stage, which is further intensified with the text of Aeschylus. Tragedy text is fully read by the single actor. 7 years. 7 years later, after that, Aeschylus Prometheus Bound was staged by the chief director of the Rustaveli Theatre in Georgia, Robert Sturla. In the 20th century, Sturla's carnivalesque, highly expressive, partly Brechtian yet entirely original metaphorical language defined Georgian theatre for several decades and held a unique position in the history of the world theatre. Robert Sturla was born in 1938 and has been director of Rustaveli National Theatre since 1962. As we know, Prometheus Bound is the first tragedy of Aeschylus trilogy, and the other 2 have not reached us. Sturla plans to stage a trilogy, although it is not yet known which text will be in the next 2 tragedies will be based on. The poster indicates that the audience will see a tragedy based on the text of Aeschylus and the name of the director himself listed among the translators. Robert Sturla turns the tragedy of Aeschylus into a grotesque buffoonery. He offers a kind of philosophical judgment about the fate of humanity. Sturla's theatrical language is characterized by free processing, processing of the text. This time he enriched the play of Aeschylus with his own phrases. The character of Hephaestus and Hermes are replaced by a tramp, a character in the Bacchanalia of Dionysus. The director presents the story of the Prometheus as the performance that took place during Dionysia. The actor playing the role of Prometheus is actually attached to the construction throughout the performance. The director also presents the chorus in the manner that disrupts the fundamental principle and characterization of ancient tragedy, which is the unity of the chorus. The chorus actors play the different characters. One is pregnant, one is very young, almost a child, and the Corypheus is especially destroyed by the makeup and costume. While the classical philology kept the portrayal of the ancient chorus as a representation of society, still was deformed chorus can be seen as an analog of the modern society perceived by the director. The scenography represents a dark, empty space with a single central construction around which the action unfolds. The costumes are primarily with black, dark colors. The performance is a monumental and large-scale staging. Okay, time is up. I should stop.
Yes. You can make the conclusion.
Yes, I just wanted to say that these two staging are absolutely different from each other, and as these two staging are as two directors are different as well, according to age, point of view, and their theatrical manner, but both of them are the root of both of the stagings is ancient texts, the tragedy of Aeschylus, and they both can take from there. And this, the conclusion, despite numerous the desperations and the considerable artistic freedom exercised by both directors, the ancient text of Aeschylus tragedy served as the foundation for their directional choices. This reiterates the ancient tragedy continues to be a principal driving force behind intercultural and cross-era dialogue, given its enduring and boundless nature, mirroring the timelessness of the myth itself. Thank you.